feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright. Echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? We're back. Back for it's not TGIF anymore, it's like TGIS. Thank God it's Saturday. Good to see you all. Hey, I saw some people did a meetup. I saw some people on Web Sleuths did a meetup. How cool is that? I saw the little thing with like Slam RN and few other people. I don't know who else was there, but I watched the video just before. It looked really fun. I don't know, was I don't know, was Trish there? I have no idea. That would have been cool if she flew all the way to SLC and hung out with you all. But sounded like a fun night. It sounded like a fun night. But now you have me. Now you have me at the late show, and we're gonna just talk some true crime. I don't really have a lot planned. I just thought we'd hang out and I don't know, talk what's going on in the world. There's been a bunch of things we have missed in true crime. If you've missed what's going on in Sydney and Melbourne today, you cannot get to like the city right now. If you're in the city, I don't know if it's still ongoing, but there is a giant protest going on. This is in Sydney, as you can see. That's the Sydney Harbour Bridge in the background in this photo. And the same thing is ongoing in Melbourne right now. So there's these giant protests happening down here. So we can't go to the city today. Thank God there's no Supreme Court on today because I wouldn't be able to get there because it is in the city. Hey, Retardaran, how are you, my friend? Yeah, it was so fun. Trisha wasn't there, but we are doing it. We are doing it again. We expect you to come next year, Ping. Come to Salt Lake City. Okay. I don't know if I'll ever make it to Salt Lake City, but I hope to one day. I don't. Maybe. I think if I'm ever going to go overseas, I'm probably going to be heading to New York. There's something I need to do in New York in the future, so maybe in New York. But Maryland said impressive protesting. Yeah, even Julian Assange showed up to the protest in Sydney apparently. So yeah, I hope you guys had a fun time. Is it strange that there's two retired RNs? Like there's retired RN and then there's Slam RN. Is it strange that there's two registered nurses? I guess if you went to the meetup, if anything happened, you would be in good hands. You'd be in very good hands. You'd have two nurses, two registered nurses who could make sure that you would not die. They would make sure you would live. They would be very good nurses. Would the US let us in? I don't know if they would anymore. They'd be like, "Hey, you owe us money for beef exports or something," and they'd be like, "No, you can't come in. Yeah, you can't. You have to pay us a 50% tax on all your exports." Here, what does it say? Yeah, protest chaos. Yeah, that's a lot of people. So we're not going to get into it because we don't do political stuff here. So I'm not going to really go into it, but I'll just say that it seems to be a big event in Melbourne and Sydney this afternoon. So a lot of protesting going on. They're protesting about that one country and that other country that are really close to each other, and then bad things are happening. That one. That's what they're protesting. All right. Let's go. Let's talk about we don't talk that type of thing here. You know what we do? You know what we do and what we don't do, but we do. We talk true crime. That's what we do. So yesterday we talked about Maxwell Anderson, which was really really hard to talk about. You know, the details out of that case were horrific. I mean, to hear what he did to her was, and then hear the judge try and explain it. And the judge is sitting there trying to explain his offending, and the judge is like, I'll say like 3 words, then I don't want to talk anymore about it. Like, it's so horrific. These, that's the one thing. People ask me, like, what was it like being at the Aaron Patterson trial? It was sort of weird to be at a murder trial that wasn't this type of murder trial. And that's when I was speaking to some of the other journalists, they also said the same thing, because while people were murdered, and we know that now, it wasn't it's not like they got shot or they were, killed in, like, sort of like the Sade Robinson type way. It was done with a poison, so it was like a poisoning event. It was very different from doing a dramatic, violent murder, as where this was dramatic, but in a medical sense, because they ingested that poison and then they slowly got very ill and they died. As where, like, when you have a murder scene, it's very different, because you walk into a house and there's someone who's dead and they find body parts or something. It's like a completely separate type of like true crime. It's very, very different from each other. And so when we were talking about the trial yesterday for Maxwell Anderson, it's so different from doing like a poisoning thing, and it seems very graphic, but in a different way. And when we're at the Patterson trial, we heard very graphic details, but they were medical evidence. So it was like the poison, when they ingested it, they like it ate away at their liver, and then it ate like this, killed their bowel off, and their liver got necrosis, and that's sort of how they died from multiple organ failure. It was like a slow, prolonged death, as where you have Maxwell Anderson, and it was like just killed her, chopped her up, and dumped her body parts around Milwaukee. So yeah, just one of the weird things that I did. We're sort of being talked about at the trial with some of the media. We were sort of explaining how it was, different from doing a normal sort of, that a murder trial. It was just sort of very, very different and abnormal, because I'm guessing you don't get a lot of poisoning trials. They just don't happen that often. Hold on. Right. Sorry about that. I'm still a little under the weather. I'm still getting over this flu. I'm still sound better than last Sunday. When I did the show last Sunday, I couldn't speak at all. My voice was gone. So what were we saying? Oh, a little bit about Aaron. So after we talked yesterday, I sort of went through and looked through some of the comments over the last sort of, I don't know, couple of weeks since we've had the verdict, and I was sort of reading through them. And the number one thing that people kept talking about were two things. One, we never did a call-in show where people could come in and ask or express their opinion about the trial, and I promised to do this and then never did it. So we will do that at some point in the next week. I will open up a show. I will give out a link. You can call in and you can say whatever you want about Aaron Patterson. The other thing is, we never did a sort of A to Z of what sort of happened between the 29th of July 2023 and then the 7th of July 2025, when we got a verdict. People really would like a sort of encapsulated video with all the details from the trial, all the details from before the trial, the offending, the stuff that happened, before July 29th, 2023, and then what happened to get us to a verdict of guilty. I'm working on it. So instead of doing the podcast that we're going to do, that was like 10 episodes, I'm trying to compress it into like a 2-hour video that I'm going to pre-record, because if I don't pre-record it, you guys will talk in the chat, and then I'll do stuff like this, and then I will break it up, and I will be, oh yeah, hey, look at this, and we'll talk about this, and we'll get off topic. and I won't be able to cover everything that I'd like to cover. So if I pre-record it and I have a script, I can just tell you everything I want to tell you, and that's it. So that'll happen. I'm working on it. Give me it's a lot of information. It'll take me probably about a week to sort of pare it through and write a proper script and include all the evidence that I want to include and the big key pieces from the trial and stuff like that. So we'll go all the way back to that dinner party and before, and I'll start there and then go, all the way to the 7th of July, and then we'll have to do another one later on when we get a sentence. So that'll happen in the next, probably in the next week or so. It's going to take me a little while to. It's thousands of pages of evidence. Like, I don't even know how to explain it to you, but it's like 10,000 or more pages of court documents, notes, evidence files. Like, it'll take a bit of time to work through it all. Permaculture said, I have opinions. You are welcome to express your opinion however you want. I don't care. I don't care if you think Erin's not guilty. I don't care if you think Erin's guilty. I don't care if you think she is falsely accused. I don't know. That's your opinion. The only time we've ever stifled people's opinions on this channel is when I had a legal responsibility to do so during the trial. Outside of the trial, before the trial, whenever, you can say whatever you want. I don't really care. I mean, like, I have my opinion about Erin too, and I wasn't able to give it to you during the trial. I had to keep everything I thought to myself and just give you the facts of what happened. So yeah, that'll happen in the next week or so. Let's see. Oh, Slam RN wasn't there? She wasn't? No, I thought I saw that she was going. Oh, who was there? Tell me who went to the meetup. Four Sons' mum, because I know she lives in SLC. I know Four Sons' mum lives out there. If she's healthy enough to go, I don't know, but I know she lives out that way. You have to tell me who was there. Just you. It was just you? What do you mean it was just you? Really? It was only one person? Was that really? Why would it only be one person? Should have asked Slam RN to come. I know. Not Slam RN. Should. No, there was two people. I see two people on your camera. I see two people. Unless you are somehow two people in one person, I don't believe you. Oh, okay. Oh, just one nurse. Okay. Okay. All right. Just one nurse. All right. Retired RN is the only nurse. Sorry. Hey, Joe, what's up, buddy? Kerrville, Texas. Kerrville? Are you in Kerrville right now? Did you travel? Are you all the way in where the floods were? Or am I misunderstanding that you all have always lived there? I'm now confused. You'll have to let me know. Are you really in Kerrville right now? I hope it's nice weather. It's your summer. All of chat was there. No. I don't think it's possible that all of the chat was there because they come from all over the world. I'm in Kerrville. I took a tour of the flood damage recovery day. I would be interested to know more about that because I'm educated in weather. I've done I've done university degrees and stuff in weather, meteorology. So you can I don't know. I'd like to know more about that. I'd like to know more about what it looks like now. It was raining again this afternoon. Linda said I was supposed to be there, but news from home sent me in a different direction. Oh. Retired said I don't think anyone from this chat was there. Four Sons' mom and Lin Jen 2 had planned to come, but couldn't make it at the last minute. Oh, I'm sad. I'm sad that that happened. That those two couldn't go. Yeah, it looks like a fun time. It looks like everyone had fun. Well, I hope you had fun at the meetup. I hope that was eventful. I don't know if I will ever be there. I don't think that is a possibility. But if you ever want me to do a live show just for you guys at the meetup next year, I could do that over Zoom or something, and I could give you guys a one-off lecture about one of the trials we've been to if you want. Woman of Steel said, "I'm glad you're getting better. How is Mrs. Ping? From the day you brought her home until today, has it been a big improvement?" I wouldn't say a big improvement. I think she's been. I think it's a slow hill. Like she's getting better slowly. I think when the surgery stuff heals and stuff like that, she'll get even more better. But that is a slow process, right? Slow process. There you go. She says it is a slow process. They did a live. I okay. I wasn't invited. No one invited me. I didn't see any live. The only one I saw was the only one I can see is the one that Trish did. It's the only one I can see. I can't see any others. The evidence bags. I didn't see any of it. I have to go back and look. I have to go back and have a look. Joe Schmo said, I spoke with a Kerr County local that believes cloud seeding played a part in this. Yeah, I have heard that theory. I've heard that there was. I saw some sort of like people had put up some evidence that cloud seeding could have played a part in it, but I haven't been able to. I would want to know more about, was there any flights planned? Were they actually actively cloud seeding over this area? Because some of the biggest research in cloud seeding, especially with the it's silver iodine, right? They actually did that in Tasmania and Victoria and New South Wales in Australia over the Snowy River catchment. And they were doing this in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. And they were experimenting with cloud seeding technology, for a few decades. There's a really old documentary that shows the progression of them learning of how to do it. I will email it to you. It is really, really interesting. And it may have some lessons that you may be able to have a look at and apply to Texas and see if there's any of this activity happening. So no, I think to I think if it was cloud seeding, it would have to be on a massive scale. The way it works is with the cloud seeding, they actually target specific cloud structure, and then they seed that cloud and they hope that, in 10, 15, 20 minutes, it becomes rain active and produces more rain than it would have. I don't know how that would work if you wanted to seed 500, a wide variety of freaking border, region of cloud seeding. You'd need 20 aircraft and a million different people seeding clouds. I don't know, but okay, that's weird. There's no like, unless she did it on her personal channel, I don't see a show booked here at all for. I'll ask Trish about it because I don't see a recording for it. Like I can see in the back end of our thing, I don't see a recording for that show at all. I can see where she did a 25-minute one up here. No, that's our show. Here. There's one called like Salt Lake City Meetup. I see this. Here's retired Iran right there. Here, my friend. But I don't. Yeah, like I see this one here, but it only went for about 25 minutes. I don't know. If that's the one you're talking about? Let me know. But that was it. Oh, that was it. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it went for like 4 hours or something. I was like, well, I don't see a show that goes for 4 hours, but all right. Cool. I hope you guys had fun. It did look pretty cool. Where's this thing here? There was a screenshot. Look at this. You got a big wall set up and evidence bags. It looks great. I want to know where you found a classroom that let you do it. Oh, there's a group of people here. They got like a table. It looks fantastic. Hope you had a good time. Hope you had a good time. I'm actually thinking of doing something similar to this, but in Melbourne. This summer 2025, 2026, maybe after New Year's in January or February. I'm thinking of doing a small true crime event in Melbourne, and it'll probably be based on probably one of the trials we went to, and I'll be doing a talk in Melbourne. So look for that. It'll probably be very, very small. I've never done a live event in person before, but we are looking to do something like that this summer. So this summer, I'll bring out some people I've met along the way and talk about different cases that we've been able to cover from the Supreme Court. So that'll be this summer. 2025, 2026. And then maybe I'll go on tour like a country music star. No, I won't. All right, let's talk about true crime. That's enough catch up. We've caught up. We've talked days, events, and things like that. All right, we did that. Let's go here. So let's talk about some actual crime cases. Oh, that's interesting. Gary Busey has pleaded guilty to inappropriately touching a woman during a 2022 horror film convention. That's interesting. He pleaded guilty. Let me see if I can find anything here. Let's go to WHYY, which is an interesting name for a TV channel. They said he had been accused of inappropriately touching a woman at the Monster Mania convention at the Doubletree Hotel in Cherry Hill, where he was a featured guest. There he is, the actor we all know. They said he pleaded guilty to a sexual offense stemming from the appearance at the 2022 horror convention in New Jersey. He entered the guilty plea to a single count of criminal sexual contact during a virtual hearing in the state court in Camden on Thursday. Here, the actor had been accused of inappropriately touching at least 3 women at the convention. Organizers of the event acknowledged at the time that an unnamed celebrity guest was removed from the convention and instructed not to return, and affected attendees were encouraged to contact police. They're saying he had been scheduled as a featured guest for all 3 days of the event. He was initially charged with 2 counts of fourth-degree criminal sexual contact, 1 count of attempted criminal sexual contact, and 1 count of harassment. They're saying here, according to his lawyer, he was overcharged, probably based on his status. Overcharged. How do you become overcharged if you actually did what is alleged? You can't be like, well, I may have touched 3 women, but I should only be, I should only have 1 charge, right? Because I'm a celebrity. So I should only have 1, all the good things I've given to the world, all the movies I've done, all these appearances that I've done out of my free time. You should just give me 1 charge. Don't worry about the other 2 women. They don't need justice. I find that very interesting. Trying to throw his celebrity around. They're saying spokesperson for Camden County prosecutors didn't immediately respond to an email seeking comment on Friday. They're saying he's widely known as a character actor, largely in supporting roles. Definitely in supporting roles. Might be groping roles, apparently, according to the charges. He was definitely supporting something with his hands, apparently. He's very best supporting actor, apparently, of women, apparently. Gayla said, if I can't remember, it didn't happen. Yeah, I know. Must have thought he could do whatever. I mean, why were you going around groping young women at a Monster Mania convention? Like, you're a Hollywood person. Isn't there enough young ladies in Hollywood that, you know, want to get close enough to celebrity that they're willing to do basically anything? Why do you need to go grope some women at a convention? Seems like a very strange way of getting your, you know, getting your rocks off. Let's see, actor. Let's see if we can find anything else about him. So Court TV had it too that he pled guilty to the sex crimes charge. Let's see if we can find anything from a local news station for it. I would like to see that. So from the Associated Press, AAP, uh, actor pleads guilty to groping women. He's dead. Yeah, so there you go. Best supporting actor. The 81-year-old actor, 81, admitted that he deliberately touched a woman inappropriately while posing with fans as he pleaded guilty to criminal sexual misconduct at a virtual court appearance. So it sounds like he was doing some sort of like meet and greet. And when, he put his arms around these women for a photo, his hands ended up in places where they shouldn't be. And he may have like copped a feel. This is disturbing coming from a guy who could be your grandfather, especially, well, I don't know how old the people are that attend Monster Mania Con, but I wouldn't suspect there'd be a lot of 81-year-olds roaming the circuit. Let's have a look. Can we find any photos from it? It sounds like it's mostly a young to middle-aged people game. There's a lot of young people there. Yeah, it looks like it looks fun. They had people from Scream there a while ago. That would be good. Let me see. When's their next event? Monster Mania 58 in Cherry Hill. That was last year. So this one was last year. So this year will be 59. Who'd they have last year? John Cleese was there. What horror movies was John Cleese in? What was he in, like a comedic um horror movie? Katie Segal will be there. That's a really good one. She's been in a lot of different stuff. Futurama, a bunch of different things. Um, Dick Warlock. I don't know who that is. Tom Atkins. I don't know half these people. But some of the photos I could find at the event looks like there's mostly, people averaging from like teenagers to like in their 60s, 70s, that type of thing. So it looks like there's a wide range of people that go there. Hey, just another human. How are you, my friend? We're talking about celebrities who grope people, apparently. Danny says he has brain damage. Okay. Rachel said he was grabbing them during pictures. Yeah, it definitely sounds like people were like sort of posing for like a meet and greet. And he has wandering hands, apparently. I can't find too much more information about it, unfortunately. They're not huh? That's interesting. I'll show you this in a second. So that's probably all we have on Gary. Just that he pled guilty. So will he have to go on a sex offender register? Most likely, right? Most likely. Let's see. He's pleaded guilty to groping a woman at the New Jersey Con. Under the plea agreement, prosecutors will drop the remaining charges against him. He has also agreed not to contact the victim. Wow, he got off lightly. Yeah, he got off really, really, really light. He says here apparently he told TMZ in 2022 none of this happened. There were a partner, a camera lady, and me and two girls. It took less than 10 seconds and then they left. That's not the story I would be telling people, old man. That, it took less than 10 seconds and then they left. I mean, that's not that you seems like you may have a stamina problem. No, I'm just kidding. Then they made up this story that I assaulted them sexually, but I did not. Well, no, apparently you did, because you wouldn't have pled guilty otherwise. You would have, you know, you would have fought the charges. They say the star, who suffered permanent brain damage in a 1988 motorcycle accident, has previously been arrested on charges of spousal abuse and was also accused of SA by a female employee when he took part in Celebrity Apprentice in 2011. I don't know if you can blame your brain injury on you groping women. I mean, I don't know what you want me to do about that. Do you want us to let you off the hook because you have a TBI or whatever, traumatic brain injury? I mean, we can, but I don't know if the women would like that. So yeah, he deliberately touched a woman while posing with fans. Yeah. So there you go. He says none of it happened. He says that the interaction took less than 10 seconds and then they left and then made up a story about him because of his celebrity. Just another human said S offender registrar and getting off lightly should not be in the same sentence. I don't think he got put on it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying he got off lightly. Is because it doesn't seem like he got put on the registrar. It doesn't say here that he has to mandatory report at all. So it must be part of the plea agreement that he does not have to do it. Interesting. I thought it was mandatory for all S crimes to have to be registered, especially in New Jersey. Hmm. They'll drop the remaining charges. He's going to be 1 to 5 years of probation and fines. That's it. 1 to 5 years of probation and fines, and not to contact the victim. That's it. That is shocking. Shocking. It definitely shows you how celebrity can get you out of certain things. Kayla said, "Don't be getting ideas and blaming your TBI." No, I think if I was already into that, it probably would have already happened, because I got my TBI 25. Wait, apparently, I can't do maths. Let's see. There's the effects of the TBI. I'm 41 this year. I was 11, so like 30 years ago. So I had my TBI like 3 decades ago. So it's Mrs. Ping will tell you that it has affected me. She often tries to say it's probably because of that, don't you? You'll be like, it's probably because you got your brain injured. She does. When I do bad things, she'll be like, "Oh, it's probably because you got brain damage when you got hit by that car." She is laughing. She is laughing, which means it's true. He'll do it again. The fact he doesn't have to go on a registrar, maybe he will. Maybe he will. Um, Woman has still said his memory is messed up. No excuse. He hasn't been the same since the motorcycle accident. Did they say exactly what he did? Just that he groped a woman when they had the photos done. Mrs. P, don't make excuses for him. Shock said he's always been strange, even when he was younger. It's interesting who makes it into show business or whatever. Hey Danny, how are you? Son of Sam speaks tonight. Okay, I believe you. I don't know what that is in relation to, but I believe you. Son of Sam? My squeaky chair is still squeaky. David Berkowitz, is he? Oh, there's a new documentary. What is it? Conversations with a Killer. New Netflix documentary on David Berkowitz. So he's saying here, what is it called? Conversations with a Killer, the Son of Sam tapes. I'm not sure I'm really that super interested in the Son of Sam. I mean, I've done some research on this particular case, but I mean, I get why it was so horrific and why it gripped New York. And I read in, is it in this book? Hold on. I think it's in this book, Mindhunter, that there's some examples from uh, his offending in here, and they use it as examples of like sort of how traits of certain killers, affect their sort of victimology, and when you see the victim, how can you relate it to certain types of killers? And they used uh, him as a specific example in Mindhunter. I read this book not for this guy. I read this book because of the Long Island serial killer, because he mentions a couple of paragraphs in Mindhunter, and I really wanted to know what the whole thing was, not the paragraph. And I think I have it saved still. Is it here? There's a bit here about. There's a bit here about. Hmm, I can't find it right at the second, but there's a bit in here about how offending people that use sexual substitution. And I find that interesting in relation to Long Island serial killer, because did he never actually have sex with his victims? Did he use things like sexual substitution to, interact with these women that he kidnapped? Interesting. I just find it interesting. what, what happened? Joe said gifted 5 memberships. Did you really? Did it really go to yourself? That's so funny. Give me a sec. I'll give away some memberships. Hold on. All right. I think I can give some away. Let's give some away to people if my page will load. All right. Here. Let's give away some memberships to people. I haven't given any away in a while, I don't think. Here. Let's give some away. Thanks, Joe, by the way. I appreciate it, buddy. It's very kind of you. Very kind. There we go. How many people do we have here tonight that don't have a membership? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, we could probably do 10. All right, you guys want another lot? Give away all the memberships, all of them. There we go. There we go. There we go. Memberships given away. That's it for this month. But I'll give some more away at some point out of my own money. I don't mind. I'd rather people I don't want people to have to pay for them if they don't want to. If they want to be a part of it but can't afford it, I'd like to just give them to people. So, hey Yvonne. Hey, good to see you. Nice to meet you, my friend. Thank you for loving my channel. I appreciate it. Wendy R said, "Is that like a gift for the person who has everything?" For Joe, could be. It could be. Hey Aussie Tad, how are you, my friend? Uh, First time I've been able to catch a live in a while. Glad to have you. Hey Jonna, good to have you. Um, what are you guys talking about? James said he's covering the Austin Drummond case. We can have a look in a second. I just want to find out what Joe was saying up here. Oh, about the cloud seeding. I'll show you. I'll pass on that information that I have just so you can watch it for your own for your own information. So it actually shows you like some of the history of how they actually learnt to do it and some of the mistakes that happened and things like that. So I think you might find it interesting. But yeah, have a look at it. Yeah, good to see you. Was that in relation to me? Did I say something wrong about the cloud seeding? I well, I don't know. I like to think in life that we all don't know everything, right? I think that's an easy way of you know, stopping yourself from being a know-it-all in life is to just have the understanding that you won't know everything about every subject, and there's always someone that will know more than you. And yeah, but I will say that there's also a lot of things in life that we can't explain. Like you don't know every government operation ever in the world, right? I don't either. So who knows if they didn't have some sort of secret rain operation running that had some sort of super silver iodine on board? Like you don't know. I don't know either. But yeah, I just find that funny. I don't know. Oh, in another chat, it wasn't know it all. Okay, yeah. I think that's a bad way of going about life, pretending like you know about everything. I think that the world is so wide and vast that you can never know about every subject and never be a complete expert on every subject. It's not possible. Even I think if you asked a scientist that specifically studied cloud seeding, if they knew everything about cloud seeding, they'd tell you no. They'd say there's always things to learn. Kind of like armchair quarterbacks. I am an armchair quarterback during the NFL season. I have to admit, I hate when Brock Purdy misses his passes. It's like George Kittle was wide open down the sideline. You just got to hit him and we win the game. So I am a bit of a Monday morning quarterback for the NFL. I always think Brock Purdy is not making the right passes. All right, let's have a look. So what is it? Oh, what do you guys want to have a look at? Austin Drummond. Let's have a look. There was another one I wanted to do, but we'll have a look at this one. I've been so out of the USA True Crime. Ah, this one. Yes, I know who this is now. This was the family, right? This was the family. Updates 1 day ago. Austin Drummond was identified, or Drummond was identified as a suspect after a baby was abandoned and 4 people found dead in Lake County, Tennessee. Do we have any like live updates in the last? It looks like their last update, TBI update, was like 1 day ago, 8 hours ago. Here, let's go to WREG News for an update. Looks like they're looking for a truck.
A search for a man accused of killing 4 people intensifying tonight. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation announced a pickup truck associated with 28-year-old Austin Drummond was located near Burnt Mill Road in Dyer County. Investigators are now asking anyone in the area with cameras to review footage from Tuesday morning to see if they spot Drummond or this truck right here. Thanks for watching the news at 5 o'clock. I'm Shay Arthur. Drummond is accused of killing 4 people and leaving a baby belonging to 2 of those victims abandoned in front of a Dyer County home. The TBI said the last confirmed sighting of Drummond was Wednesday. That was in Jackson, Tennessee. Police there may say signs he had been living in his 2016 white Audi. We were there, you see, as it was towed away to be processed for evidence. There was now a $15,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. We'll have more information about the search ahead on the news at 6 o'clock.
Well, they're saying here in a yeah, here. So if we go to this article, this was an hour ago. Only an hour ago, second man charged in the Austin Drummond case. Special agents with the TBI arrested a Jackson man Saturday and charged him with accessory after the fact of first-degree murder in connection to the ongoing search for Austin. At the request of the 29th District Attorney General, Danny Goodman, TBI agents began investigating a quadruple murder that occurred Tuesday along Carrington Road in Tiptonville. TBI investigators, in accordance with a variety of local, state, and federal authorities, identified him as a suspect. Agents obtained search warrants for Drummond, charging him in connection with the murders. Interesting. Apparently, Saturday, agents obtaining warrants charging Thomas with accessory after the fact to first-degree murder. He's now being held in Madison County Jail on an unrelated charge for failure to appear. So they're saying Austin is still on the run. That he's still outstanding right now. Let's see if we can see here. Yeah, let's go to ABC News. Emily Shapiro reporting.
Much of Northwest Tennessee wanting answers after deputies found 4 Dyer County residents dead in neighboring Lake County.
Everyone needs to be careful. Everyone needs to know who they're dealing with.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation looking into 2 connected cases from Tuesday. The first, where an infant was found abandoned in a car seat on a front yard in Dyer County, just hours before bodies were found along Carrington Road in Lake County. The victims identified as 21-year-old James Wilson, 20-year-old Adriana Williams, 38-year-old Courtney Rose, and 15-year-old Braden Williams. The suspect, Austin Robert Drummond, charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder, being a felon in possession of a firearm, 1 count of possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony, and aggravated kidnapping. Records also show Drummond served 13 years in prison and was released in September. Barbara Vaughn, who worked in Tennessee's prison system, says this is heartbreaking but not surprising.
That whole family is gone, but I've seen this behavior. I taught in the prison system. I know this kind of behavior, but it's hard to believe that people are that cruel.
Others, like Scotty Warden, says even with the suspect not yet found, he is not worried.
Well, everything's pretty good. We never had no problems here.
Lake County Mayor Danny Cook also calling this a devastating and despicable act, saying he can't imagine losing 1 family member in such a way, much less 4. This community hoping the family's questions are answered at the close of the investigation.
I hope they do fit all the pieces together and we eventually find out what drove this man, if he's the one who did it, what drove him to do this.
The reward for any information leading to Drummond's capture has been increased to $15,000.
Sorry, I was looking. There was a press conference earlier today, and I was just trying to find it. TBI press conference. They just basically said, yeah, that was 1 day ago. Keeps giving me like weird updates for like when they actually did this. Yeah, let's have a look. When was this? 1 day ago, yeah. 1 hour ago. Yeah, 1 hour ago.
A new development in that quadruple homicides in Lake County. 2 men now from Jackson, Tanaka Brown and Giovante Thomas, are now charged with alleged accessory after the fact of first-degree murder. However, the search continues for the man investigators say is responsible for their deaths. Action News 5's Garner Montgomery is outside the Lake County Jail, where this alleged accomplice, at least one of them, was taken Friday.
29-year-old Tanaka Brown is now charged with accessory after the fact of first-degree murder as agents still search for their primary suspect, Austin Drummond. Right now, TBI is asking anyone with homes or businesses along Highway 78 to share their surveillance footage with TBI they may have from that Tuesday. Today, TBI shared this picture of an older model Ford F-150 traveling on Highway 78 in Dyer County, they believe is connected to this case. The manhunt for Austin Drummond continues this weekend, wanted for the murders of Matthew Wilson, Adriana Williams, Courtney Rose, and Braden Williams. They were found dead Tuesday along Carrington Road in Tiptonville, while Matthew and Adriana's infant daughter was found abandoned in a stranger's yard 40 miles from the scene of the crime. I talked with some fishermen in Dyer County near where the truck was spotted. They say the case hasn't left their mind even during their day off on the boat.
It's a little scary. Like me and my dad were talking about last night. You know, it seems like more and more bad things keep happening closer to where we're from. It's a bad deal, and I hope and pray that they catch him and that he gets what he deserves.
I want him put behind bars just to, you know, keep the heart rate down a little bit, you know, just to know that he's not out there anymore.
We're just trying to have a good time, and we want everybody to be safe. But also, I want him to be able to be found, because he killed 4 people and left a poor baby outside.
Officials are asking anyone.
By the way, I see some people in the chat talking about that woman's pronunciation of Audi. What'd she say? I can't pronounce it the way she did, but in Australia we pronounce it Audi. Sort of like the supermarket Aldi, but with an L. You say it with a U, like Audi. I don't know why she pronounced it in that strange way that I've never heard anyone pronounce that car company like that before, but hey, maybe that's how they do it where she's from. Danny said, I think the girlfriend was in on it. It definitely seems like it doesn't seem right. Like, the hit was ordered by the gang. 2 females work for the prison. I think they were supposed to make a delivery probably into the prison and skipped on the gang. The 2 other Vics were collateral damage. I mean, you don't want to mess around with prison gangs if that's what's going on. They'll kill you even if they're in prison. They'll have people on the outside that'll get to you. Joe says Aldi. Is that how you guys pronounce Aldi? In Australia, we pronounce it Aldi. Sort of like very similar to the car name of Audi, but with an L instead of the U. So people down here don't pronounce it Aldi, although I have heard that on American television. Lindy said they are looking for Michael Paul Brown, who allegedly shot and killed 4 people in a bar in Anaconda, Montana. I saw that last night, that there was a mass shooting in Montana. I did see that after we got off the air last night. SP Mom said it's mostly where are the issues? I hope you're doing all right, my friend. Oh yeah, you had your surgery, right? You had your surgery? Did you have it? Let me go back. Was it you that was having surgery this week? Someone was having surgery this week. I can't remember. I thought it was SP Mama. I know someone was having surgery, and I was like, they weren't going to be around for a while. And I was like, okay, hope they're going to be okay. Let me see. Hey, hey, RX girl, how are you? Okay. Yeah, I know. As someone who you guys saw, I had the flu. We were sort of really paranoid about it because she's recovering from 2 months of surgeries and hospital, and then we had her mother had surgery last week, and I had the flu, and her mom wanted to come and see and do stuff, and I was like, no, because I've got the flu. We don't want to make you sick, and then you can't have your surgery because you got the flu. So we're like, you should just stay away. Go make sure you get to your surgery, get that done, and we'll see you after. So she's doing all right. She's already out of hospital. She's fine. She was walking on the beach this morning. She was calling Mrs. Ping, asking her to go to the beach with her. So she's doing just fine. She seemed to do better in her surgery than Mrs. Ping did. Mrs. Ping failed in all her surgeries. As where her mum was like, she's fine. She's already out of hospital and walking around and walking on the beach, and she's doing all right. I think she was at Mentone Beach. I think she was at Mentone. Mentone? Yeah, she was at Mentone. SP Mama said, me and my mother-in-law are having surgery in the same week. Yeah, it's weird, right? These two, her mum and her mum, 20 years ago, basically had the same illness, and then the same thing happened 20 years ago. Then she got sick like in the last year, And the same thing happened. She got sick, had surgery, then her mum got diagnosed with cancer and then had to have surgery again. Happened 20 years at the same time for a second time. It is weird, right? But first time was breast cancer. This time was lung cancer. The first time was worse, much, much more severe. This time was lung cancer. But it was only very early, very, very super early. So actually the surgery went well. They originally said they were going to have to take like half her lung, but they only took like 10%. The surgeon was super happy with what he saw. They only had to take like 10% of her lung. So she's going to be just fine. She's going to be just fine. Her recovery will be great. She doesn't have to lose any breathing capacity at all. So she's going to be no problems. She's going to be great. She's going to recover, live a long life, and all good. It's this one we've got to worry about. It's this one. It's apparently her mother's like an ox. Her mother, I don't know why for some reason you didn't inherit that gene from your mum of being an ox of health. You seem to go the other way. Yeah. That's where your mom just seems to plow through everything and be fine. Yeah, so she's doing good. So yeah, the mum's doing well, which is good news. This one's back here now recovering, so that's good. She's no longer an inpatient, which is great. She got discharged this week, so she's no longer under the nursing care. So for like the first 2 weeks she was out of hospital, we had nurses here like every freaking day. Every day we had nurses coming and going, like tending to the wounds and stuff like that. It was really annoying because like they would never tell you when they were coming. They would just ring 15 minutes beforehand and be like, we're gonna be there in 15 minutes. And appreciate them. They do a great job, but their timetables are bonkers. They were showing up at like 3 o'clock and then 6 o'clock and then 9 a.m. and then 10 a.m. and you couldn't do anything because you didn't know when they were going to arrive. So that's good now. She's no longer an inpatient. She's counted as outpatient now. So she's doing much better. So she's no longer connected to the hospital. Oh, I mean, their timetables are annoying. Like, it didn't make sense. Like, they could never tell you a time. Like, they couldn't tell you if it was the afternoon, the morning, at night. They would just tell you 15 minutes before they'd show up. Like, it was a little bit, needs some work. Their timetables need a little bit of work. So at least they can tell you, like, we'll be there between 3 and 6, or we'll be there between 9 and 1 or something. Like, that'd be much better. So at least you can say, okay, well, we can't do anything between that time. But they did not do that. Woman of Steel said, now she's home, kicking your backside. She's done that since she walked in the door. Since the moment she walked in the house, she started complaining about stuff. So that's what happened. What, you don't think that's true? Not the moment. Not the like an hour later. She's doing all right. We're just trying to get into a routine of like whatever this is, and that's the hardest bit. That's the hardest bit, is learning how to like just learn what this new type of life is like and what we can do with it. So that's the hardest bit. That and trying to feed you enough so you put on weight. So we're trying to figure out how to like get more calories into her diet and things like that, and try to how to get like good quality food and a lot of protein and meat and vegetables, because she's got to put on weight. So we're learning. So many dishes. No, there wasn't. I did the dishes. I did do the dishes. No, there was no not many dishes left to do at all. There was a bit of cutlery, because I go through cutlery like a crazy person. But there was no plates and stuff. I did all the plates and frying pans and pots and things like. I know I did all that. And for the first 2 weeks, I cooked all the meals. So I'm a good boy. I was a good boy. Laura T said, it's okay, Mrs. Ping. Most of us agree with you on the cleaning. Look, I do boy cleaning. which is like, I'll use the strongest chemical I can find, and I'm like, it's clean. I wiped it. It has the chemical on it. That means it's sanitized. It's fine. And she's like, no, it's not. You have to use this and this. I'm like, nope. It got bleached. It got sanitized. It's all good. SP Mama said, oh no, so many of my dishes tonight. Kids distracted me. Oh, okay. Oh, well, sometimes. You ask her if I'm amazing. She'll tell you that only on some days. Biscuits and gravy? I don't think Australians eat biscuits and gravy. I don't think that's a thing we eat. Yeah, she doesn't even know what it is.
You mean like those scone biscuit thingy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
American, they're not a thing here. Yeah, that may be one thing that you guys don't know here is that biscuits that you guys eat in America are not a thing here. They're not like a food that Australians eat. There's no such thing here. Like if you came to Australia and you tried to go and buy a biscuit sandwich like from KFC or something like that, you wouldn't be able to buy it. There's no such thing in Australia. So yeah. Yeah, so it's not a food that Australians eat. If you ask an Australian what a biscuit is, it would be this. Yeah, like a Tim Tam. See, in the US, biscuit generally refers to a quick bread similar to a scone, while in many other English-speaking countries, it refers to a cookie or cracker. The term biscuit encompasses a wide variety of baked goods, both sweet and savory, made from flour and other ingredients. So yeah, in Australia, a biscuit is sort of like a cookie. So if you ask someone for a biscuit, they would give you a cookie. Savory scones are not really a thing here. Mashed potatoes and gravy or butter. We have been doing a ton of mashed potato for her. A ton. We've been doing a lot of mashed potato, a lot of egg, a lot of high protein meat and things like that, just to try and get her appetite working properly. Gail says they don't have them here either. Yeah, it's not a thing here. Cold in Chadstone. It is cold as duck nuts out there again. Last night we were out. We went to go get some dinner. All the windscreens on all the cars were all like frosted at like 7 p.m. at night. It wasn't like 4 a.m. in the morning. It was like 7 p.m. The sun had only been down for a couple of hours, and all the windscreens were all frosted over. That's when you know it's cold in Melbourne. When you start seeing windscreens at 7 p.m. that are frosted over, like an hour after sunset, that's when you know Melbourne is really icy cold. It was real cold out here last night. Oh, you're gonna? I was supposed to eat breakfast and I forgot. SP Mom said cold as duck nuts. That's right, cold as duck nuts. Well, they are cold. The ducks swim in the pond, and the water is cold, so their nuts are cold. So it's cold as duck nuts. There you go. ADHD. Well, I designed the stream to be that way tonight because I'm sort of sick of doing super like organized and paperwork and all that type of thing. I'm sort of over it for a little bit. Like I need my mind to be able to just do a little bit of whatever. Otherwise I can't do it. I'm not able to operate properly. My brain doesn't like it. Here, I want to show you this story though. Officers shoot man fleeing after road rage incident in Bensalem, according to police. So they shot the dude. He was running away and they killed him. Did they kill him? Let's see. Here, what do they say? A police officer in Bensalem shot a man who ran after crashing his motorcycle during a pursuit on Saturday. At this time, the man is in a guarded condition at the hospital following surgery. You'd hope so if they shot him while he was running away. The incident began around 5:45 p.m. on Saturday, August 2nd, when police received a call of a motorist dispute on northbound Route 13 near Woodhaven Road. The dispute involved a vehicle and a motorcycle, with the people in the vehicle telling 911 operators that the motorcyclist pulled out a handgun and threatened them. Okay. A few moments later, an officer vehicle spotted and went towards the dispute, now moving in the area of Route 13 and Park Avenue. When approached, the motorcyclist slid and struck the police vehicle as it stopped, causing the suspect to then try and flee on foot. According to McVeigh, the officers began chasing the armed suspect on foot, with the officer having to use deadly force when the suspect, who was carrying a handgun in his hand, slightly turned towards him. Got to watch out for people who are slightly turned towards you. It's a deadly condition.
Lily Zhang was there when police gave us an update and has the latest tonight. Lily?
For hours Saturday, this stretch of Bristol Pike was closed. Bensalem police say that the victims were trying to get away from the suspect, who was on a motorcycle. He allegedly pulled a gun out on them. Along Bristol Pike near Woodhaven Road remain remnants of police activity, including this motorcycle. Police say it belongs to a suspect accused of threatening people in another car Saturday evening.
When the motorcyclist was following the victims in a car, the officer saw the motorcycle and pulled in front of the motorcycle, and then the motorcyclist just dumped the cycle into the car and then took off on foot.
William McVeigh with Bensalem Police says that happened around 6 o'clock. An officer chased after the suspect.
The suspect had a handgun in his right hand, slightly turned towards the officer, at what point the officer had to use deadly force, firing his weapon, which he struck the suspect.
McVeigh says part of the investigation will include how many times the officer fired his weapon. So far, he says investigators do not believe any shots were fired by the suspect, whose name has not been released as of Saturday. McVeigh says he was transported to a hospital for surgery. The victims who reported the initial road rage are not injured.
Most importantly, thankfully, our officers are all okay. It should be noted that the officer gave multiple commands for the suspect to show his hands prior to having to fire his weapon.
Bensalem police say they do expect charges to be filed, but that decision will come from the Bucks County DA's office. Reporting in Bensalem, Lily Zhang, NBC 10.
There you go. You don't need my ugly face on the screen. That was a very strange story. I would like to know what the so that would be considered a officer involved shooting. This only happened like 5 hours ago. I would like to know. I didn't hear them say that there would be an internal investigation. Normally, when an officer fires his weapon, especially in a situation like this, there'd be some sort of like OPI internal investigation. So interesting that they're not going to be doing that. Jonna said there was a dude, we read about it early this year. A guy was arrested because it was a road rage incident. He was driving on a highway, just pulled out a firearm and shot a guy in another car. And that happened in January, and they ended up arresting the guy a few months later after they found the murder weapon in his home. Like, how stupid do you have to be to, one, fire into a random car on a highway and kill the guy? Two, to then get away from the scene and somehow the cops don't know who you are, and then spend 3 months with the murder weapon in your home. Like, I keep telling people, it doesn't seem like you have to be very clever to commit a murder. Very, very stupid. Like, you're like, I got away. They don't know who I am, so let me keep the weapon. Isn't that the first thing you get rid of, is the murder weapon? Do we have to take people back to, like, elementary murder school? I feel like we have to. I feel like we're going to have to take these criminals back to get an education, because apparently they are dumb. Apparently they can't figure it out. He shot through his car window, yeah, and killed that other guy in the other vehicle. And then they finally tracked him down like months later, and they found the murder weapon in his home. I mean, I'm glad they found that because now he's arrested, but how stupid can you be? All right. You watched a program about it. He just wanted to see how it felt. Really? Was there an update on that particular one? Hold on. Can't remember where that was. It was a. Give me 1 second. I'll find it. It was a while ago, right? Like about a month ago. The original one happened in January. The guy died. Apparently there's so many that I can't find the original article about it. There's so many road rage incidents. I see about there was one here from Ohio that happened yesterday. There was one in LA last week. A man arrested in alleged hate crime assault during road rage. There's one in Ohio. 3 people from Ohio arrested after road rage shooting in the Smokies. KKTV in Colorado Springs says victim dies in Colorado road rage hit and run. This was in Colorado yesterday. There's so many of them. Yeah, this one. Victim dies in Colorado Springs road rage hit and run. Suspect facing murder charge. This is not the one we were talking about where the guy fired into the car, but this is pretty brutal.
A man once questioned in what is now a cold case murder is in jail tonight, this time accused in a hit and run. This is Daniel Nations, and he was arrested yesterday after police say he hit a man with his car following a road rage incident. That happened on Union near Palmer Park, and that's where 11 News reporter Aaron Vidito is live from right now. You've been reading through Nations' court records, Aaron, and he has a long criminal history.
That hit and run that happened just behind me over here on Union is the latest in a long list. For more information on Nations, I went over to the address listed as his in his arrest papers, and I spoke with some of his neighbors.
I just tried to stay away from his door, honestly, as much as possible.
Robert Presley says he lives just a few doors down from Daniel Nations.
I've lived here approximately a year, and there was a verbal altercation with myself, another tenant over down the hall.
He's one of several people on the floor who say they have had run-ins with Nations.
He was very brash with me.
In 2017, Nations was arrested, accused of threatening bikers with a hatchet near Mount Herman Road, a crime he would later plead guilty to.
We're even talking about should we be, concerned on where we ride.
As officials investigated the murder of Timothy Watkins nearby that same year. Nations was questioned for that case, but never arrested on any charges. 11 News asked El Paso County deputies for any updates, including whether Nations is a person of interest, but they say they cannot comment. Besides that, Nations has a history of pleading or being found guilty of possession of a weapon by a previous offender, false reporting, and violating a protection order. A history his neighbors say they were unaware of, but not surprised by.
That doesn't really strike me as odd. This apartment complex is a safer place now.
I also knocked on the door listed as his in his arrest papers to see if his family wanted to comment, but I got no response. For this most recent case, Nations is expected back in court 1 week from today on August 1st. Live in Colorado Springs, Aaron Vidito, KKTV, 11 News.
And we'll let you know what happened.
That guy's last name seems like really familiar. Nations. I feel like he's been involved in a different crime that we covered in the last few months. It really does. Yeah, can't comment equals yes. Normally, yeah, because if they're not involved in the crime, they just say no. They'd be like, "No, we're not investigating him for that." So whenever the cops go, "Oh, we can't comment on that," it's normally because they are investigating them on it. You are 100% right. Yeah. So yeah, that poor guy, this guy, this fella, this guy here is like, I'm so happy he's arrested because now my apartment complex is safer. Isn't that annoying? Imagine if that is one of the things that a lot of people deal with in their life, right? Imagine you lived in an apartment complex, a small one, and then you had one neighbor who just ruins it for everyone. I mean, that's a special type of hell. It really is, because you get, you're not comfortable in your own home. You don't enjoy being there. And it's all because of one person. And that's probably what this guy was feeling. And now the guy's gone, and he's all like, "Yes, it's safer here now." Hey Carolina. Yeah, happy birthday to Laura T's son. I do. I hope he had a good day. Hope he had a good day with his mom, or talking to his mom anyway. Chavez said, "Don't ever point a weapon at someone or something you're." Yeah, don't point a weapon at something you're not willing to kill. Although that's a strange piece of advice because sometimes people are willing to do that. Lynn Jen said, "We have uncontrollable toddlers driving vehicles disguised as adults." Apparently so, because when I typed in road rage arrested, there was like 50 different stories in the last week. Like not a month, not a year, a week. Yeah, let me have a look what DJ wants us to look at. Oh, why would he do that? A man shot and killed after trying to force his way onto the Davis Monthan Air Base. Well, that sounds like a dumb idea. So this was in Tucson, in Arizona. Why would you try to get onto the airbase? That seems like a stupid idea because they got all the weapons. They will kill you. Let's play the
We
video.
are learning more about a deadly shooting at Davis Monthan Air Force Base.
Officials say a civilian, a man, tried to enter the base illegally. Now, we spoke with a couple who said that they are immediate family of the person shot in the incident, who gave us more insight into what they say happened.
13 News reporter Sean Mahoney joins us live from Davis Monthan Air with more. Now, Sean, what can you tell us?
Yeah, well, Mary, Dan, I spoke with people who claim to be the father and stepmother of the person who was shot and killed here in the early hours this morning. They tell me that their son is a type 1 diabetic who occasionally gets his dosage wrong, which can lead to disorientation. And they say that was the case and what led him to drive through this gate at Davis Monthan behind me. And it's a tragic incident that veterans that I spoke to say they wish would never happen here at home. According to a release from Davis Monthan officials today, this all started after a civilian driver failed to stop and identify themselves at the main gate at Craycroft and Golf Links, an area which veterans who worked at DM say confuses people often.
Probably several times a day, especially people who just aren't familiar with the area and don't know that it's a base. You're just on Craycroft and you're driving along. Next thing you know, you enter a base.
Officials say the person was reported to be driving erratically and crashed into a deployed vehicle barrier, then attempted to reverse. That's when officials say a member of the security force shot the suspect dead. We spoke with a local business owner in the area who says the fenced gate led to many questions.
Sounds absolutely insane. It sounds a little extreme, and I'm actually very surprised because you would think there would be a lot more, police cars, etc., but didn't see anything.
However, the man claiming to be the father of the person shot provided us with some potential answers to those questions. In a statement to us, he says his son was a type 1 diabetic who would get his dose wrong occasionally, leading to confusion and delusion. He says his son left work at 2:30 this morning and was headed south to return home when they claim that confusion set in, causing him to drive through the gate. This begs the question of why this escalated into a deadly scene. We asked veterans at a local VFW post for their thoughts.
I work with the security forces, so the first thing I thought of is, oh my God, I can't believe they had to go through this.
Veterans we spoke to say they don't expect to ever have to use deadly force at the base compared to posts overseas, but the training security forces have lays out the level of threats and the type of response needed.
There's always a use of force model that they go through, that they've got to adhere to, and so you've got to do certain things for us to engage you with deadly force.
While they say they don't wish any situation to reach this level of force, those working the entrance posts handle security of the base with the utmost importance.
It happens very seldom, but those guys and gals have to be on alert 24/7. There are no second chances. When somebody tries to penetrate the base.
Now, it's important to note that we have not received any confirmation on the information given to us by the people who claim to be the family of the person who was shot and killed here. However, according to information and research from the Mayo Clinic, that signs and symptoms of a diabetic episode could be some of these similar things described by this family that led to that erratic driving that was in the report.
If that does turn out to be a diabetic who was having a, episode, and it was, it's sad. I don't know why they would try and crash through the barrier, and what it would take for the military to use that deadly force in that way, unless they thought it was maybe they thought it was like a direct threat. Unfortunately, one of the things, one of the alerts that has gone out recently to military is a high alert for cars being used as weapons. And that stems from things like New Orleans that happened this year, whenever it happened, when that New Orleans attack happened with the car that drove through that area. They put out an alert to all security forces in the US about cars being used as weapons. So I don't know if maybe the security personnel at this particular base were slightly freaked out, thinking that this was some sort of an attack. Um, it it sort of feels like if you just look at it from a distance, it sort of feels like that, right? Car was driving erratically, tried to crash through their barrier. Um, I could see how maybe the security forces were thinking, "Oh my God, this is it. It's happening," and they put to use their training. Unfortunately, we'll have to see what the internal investigation comes up with about why this had to happen. It's very, very sad. If it is indeed the guy is a diabetic. Yeah, I'm not here. Yeah, what else do they say? No, we just watched that one. Civilian killed. Let's go to KVOA.
Was shot and killed after trying to illegally enter Davis-Monthan Air Force Base overnight. The United States Air Force says it happened early this morning around 2:30. Officials say the suspect refused to stop at the base's main gate on Craycroft Road and was driving erratically. That suspect, they described as a civilian, then crashed into a barrier and started reversing the vehicle. And that's when a security unit opened fire and shot and killed that suspect. We're told the Air Force Office of Special Investigation is handling the investigation on the base. Be sure and stay with News 4 Tucson as we learn more.
Okay, so there is an internal investigation going on with the US Air Force, and I'm sure we'll get some update at some point. Hey Joe, what's up? Ah, that's what it was. Hey, good to see you, man. Yeah, I thought that name sounded really familiar. I was like, why do I know that name, Nations? And I was like, that's so weird. Why is that such a like seems so like prevalent to me? I was like, I've heard that name before. And you're right, it was because he was I think an early suspect, maybe not the right word. I think it was probably more like some people on the internet had pinged him as a somewhat of a suspect, and then the cops, I think, have ended up investigating him for a period of time, and then there was some reason why it didn't fit. I can't remember why, if he wasn't in the area at the time or he was somewhere else. And I know he was in a different state at one point, if I remember correctly. But yeah, person of interest. That's right, person of interest. Danny says 2:30 a.m. at an Air Force base. It is a little odd, but his family seemed to have some sort of explanation that he was coming home from work. So, I mean, there are people who work late at night. It is a bit weird though. According to his family, he was a type 1 diabetic who had gotten his dose wrong in the past, leading to confusion and delusion. His father says he left work at 2:30 a.m. Friday morning and was heading south to return home when they say confusion had set in, causing his strange driving and routing. I mean, it's possible, but then why his erraticness at the gate? Why not listen to the commands of the military members? Because if you're pretty cool, like they're stern with you, but if you just say, "Hey man, I took a wrong turn," they'll just say, get out of here. Like, turn around and go. Like, don't go any further. We'll escort you out. It takes a lot for them to draw firearms and shoot through a windshield of a vehicle. They must have felt very at threat for some reason. We'll find out. That's the thing. A lot of suspects end up in other murders. Yeah, that's right. He crashed into the gate. Yeah. I mean, I've heard of diabetics doing this, where they've crashed into homes, gates, schools, other cars, all sorts of things, but you didn't get a notification? I'm sorry, my friend. He may have been. I think we need to find out what this internal investigation from the Air Force can find out, because, I mean, it somewhat makes sense from the family. At least the family was able to give a explanation that somewhat makes, some sense. But and then the Mayo Clinic also described that his symptoms and what he did do match what happens to a diabetic. But hey Jojo. Because if you're going up or down, you don't know what you're doing. Diabetes is unpredictable. Could be. Blaze says, when that happens, some of them are confused and acting like they are drunk. I think we're going to have to wait. Diabetic crash will often affect the ability to think logical. He could have looked drunk to the military, like when he got there, but it's still what. So he went to the gate, and then he wait. Hold on. He crashed. He got to the barrier, and then he crashed through it. Why did he take that second step? And then when he went over the spikes, so apparently he went over the spikes and probably punctured his tire. Then he tried to reverse. Why that? Why not just stop and then I mean, you don't know. I mean, if they're in a delirium type state, I guess, but there seems to be like several steps here that went wrong. Not just one. It's not like a guy that was having a diabetic crash, passed out and then hit a wall or hit the booth or something. And then they're like, oh my God, this guy is ill. He's having a diabetic crash. Let's help him. Because the military would help him. They'd call an ambulance. And if he was having a heart attack or a diabetic crash, they would help him. So why did it go from we are not going to help him to let's draw a firearm and shoot him? That's what we need to find out. I don't know if they had guns drawn. They would have just been at the booth. There's a security booth like right as you drive in, and that's where they like sort of are. So I'm confused at what happened. Interesting. Yeah, diabetic ketoacidosis. Yeah, I'd want to see that CCTV and see how this transpired. Not the shooting part, but the bit before. I'd want to see that car rock up to the gate and then how this all happened. I think unless you can look at that, it's very hard to know what was going on here. A lyric sensor, is that the thing that you put on your arm and then it can go to your phone? And so you don't have to prick your finger all the time? It's like a thing on your arm. I've seen those on people. They always have guns out on the gate. Yeah, but I've seen people get to Air Force bases before, even seem erratic, and their first thing is not to pull a firearm and shoot. It's just sort of to find out what the hell's going on, and most of the time they'll just escort you out. They'll just be like, "Hey, you can't be here. Turn around. We're going to follow you out and get you back on the main road, and don't come back. Otherwise, we'll arrest you." So why did it go from 0 to 100? That's what we'll have to find out. Oh, that's sad. Oh, Shebe said yes, and I can monitor it from my phone. Maybe he had that. They don't know what they're doing. He was driving prior to getting to the gate. Yeah, he was. Yeah, let's go back. I want to listen to this more carefully.
Shot in the incident, who gave us more insight into
more.
Yeah.
Now, Sean, what can you tell us?
Yeah, well, Mary, Dan, I spoke with people who claim to be the father and stepmother of the person who was shot and killed here in the early hours this morning. They tell me that their son is a type 1 diabetic who occasionally gets his dosage wrong, which can lead to disorientation. And they say that was the case and what led him to drive through this gate at Davis Monthan behind me. And it's a tragic incident that veterans that I spoke to say they wish would never happen here at home.
According to a release from Davis Monthan officials today, this all started after a civilian driver failed to stop and identify themselves at the main gate at Craycroft and Golf Links, an area which veterans who worked at DM say confuses people often.
Probably several times a day, especially people who just aren't familiar with the area and don't know that it's a base. You're just on Craycroft and you're driving along. Next thing you know, you enter a base.
Officials say the person was reported to be driving erratically and crashed into a deployed vehicle barrier, then attempted to reverse. That's when officials say a member of the security force shot the suspect dead. We spoke with a local business owner in the area who says the fence gate led to many questions.
Sounds absolutely insane. It sounds a little extreme, you know, and I'm actually very surprised because you would think there would be a lot more, you know, police cars, etc., but didn't see anything.
However, the man claiming to be the father of the person shot provided us with some potential answers to those questions. In a statement to us, he says his son was a type 1 diabetic who would get his dose wrong.
I don't know. It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right. Hey, buddy. See you, bud. Good luck tomorrow with the locals. Good luck tomorrow interviewing people in the local area. Hit me up when you have some time when you're back from Kerrville. Let's if you want to talk weather, we can do that again. I'd like to do that. I like talking weather. C. Taylor said attempted to reverse. Yeah. If he had the sort of, if his mind was there where he could know that his car was stuck on the car barrier and then reverse, how come he couldn't then follow directions? I know he's confused because of the diabetes, but how come he knew how to reverse when the car was on the barrier then? It's a little confusing because you would think he wouldn't even, if he was in such a delirious state, he wouldn't even know that he was stuck on the barrier. Like he would just be so out of it that he wouldn't have any clue. But how come he knew that the barrier had gone up and that he wanted to try and reverse back over it, which you can't, it'll slash your tires. There's a couple of things here that don't make sense. I'm not saying he's guilty or whatever, just saying the actual incident doesn't make fully, it seems illogical because yeah, I've seen military help people that are having medical episodes before. I've seen when people have had heart attacks and then crashed into military gates and things, and they've understood, oh my God, this guy's having a heart attack. What was so aggressive about this situation that they felt they had no choice but to pull that firearm? Like I said, but the only thing I can think of is that alert did go out to all security personnel across the US about cars being used as weapons. And maybe they were on high alert for any type of vehicles that were sort of acting like a weapon. And they were like, oh crap, this is the real deal. And they, instead of thinking this was a diabetic episode, thought this was an attack on the base. You know, I could see that happening. I could see them getting very, very paranoid about a vehicle acting that way. Interesting. She claimed her gas pedal disappeared. They found her on the side of the road. She had just pulled over. Interesting. I'll see if I can, if they release that report to media, I'll see if I can get it from their PIO, and I'll see if they'll hand it out when it's complete, and we'll see what it says. It'll be interesting to get some answers here as to what actually happened at that gate, because in some ways it does sort of, go with this, like the diabetic thing, and then in some parts it doesn't seem right. It's it sort of goes like 0 to 100 like that. And I know military bases are nothing to mess around with. But I've also, at the same time, I've also seen them help people before. So it's a bit strange. Like the vet said, it seemed a bit odd. Because they normally have like stages they go through about like contact with civilians and what response they have to give. And the fact they went from like here to shooting him is odd. Right. You're probably right. All right. It's almost 5. Let's get out of here for the night. I've had a fun night. It's nice to be in catch up with everyone. It's been fun to catch up with everyone. So let's get out of here for the night. What are we going to do tomorrow? I have no idea. Maybe we'll get an update in that manhunt. Well, that'd be good if we can get an update about that. Hey, Shepe. Blaze says, I had a cop give me directions when I was sober and I couldn't understand their loud, grouchy commands. Regular humans are not Marines. I might get shot because I'd give my ID wrong. Maybe. Carolina says, the U.S. Air Force Internal Affairs will look into every single thing about the shooting. We'll see. I'll see if I can get my hands on that report or not. All right. Love you all. Hey, thanks to all the people who support this channel. I appreciate it. I know we're not currently at a trial like right now, but we are working on always heading back to a live trial. So whenever I can find one that I think is a good topic for us to cover, I'll be there. So that'll be our sort of new thing now is as soon as I can find something that's interesting and reportable that I think we're not going to get restricted on a million ways from Sunday and that we can actually do good reporting on, we will be there. So I will see you. I will see you tomorrow. We'll be back. Trish is probably not doing a show tomorrow. She doesn't normally do one on Sundays. One thing I've been sad about, by the way, Trafficked on Nat Geo is back. If you like the Traffic series with Mariana, that is back and it's in episode 3 this week. I love that show. And then the one that we haven't seen is Cold Justice. We were told it was going to come back in the spring of 2025. Still no update about what is going on with the new season of Cold Justice on Oxygen. No update. They were supposed to air it directly after Profiling Evil with that aired earlier this year. It was supposed to Profiling Evil was going to end, and then they were going to air Cold Justice. No new episodes have come out at all. And if you go to the Cold Justice page, Cold Justice Facebook. If you go to the Cold Justice Facebook page where they normally have updates on upcoming stuff, there is no update. Look. Prosecuting Evil, not Profiling Evil, that's a different channel. Prosecuting Evil with Kelly Siegler. That already came out earlier this year. But Cold Justice just says coming in 2025. No update at all. At all. No update except for Terry Rose deemed competent for trial in 1999 murder of former girlfriend Kimberly Langwell. That's good news. But no news about Cold Justice at all. Don't know what's going on. There's no release date. It was supposed to, but Video Reel, they normally come out every January, February. We get a new season. That's how it's been since 2019. Just nothing. No updates, no timeline, no premiere date. It was supposed to come out in the spring of 2025, but so far, as soon as we do have, as soon as this airs on a weekend, every Saturday night I'll be doing a recap of the Cold Justice episode on this channel. So when we get a new season, just like we did with the last one that happened about a year and a half ago, I'll be doing a Saturday night recap episode every week, and we'll be going through it. I'll show you the court documents. I'll show you the evidence that they didn't show on the episode. or the updates after the episode, I'll show them to you, and we'll be doing recaps again of Cold Justice every week, which I really look forward to. It's a fun thing to do every weekend, but we're just waiting. We're just sort of sometime in 2025, apparently. Maybe autumn, maybe fall. I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out. Yeah, so normally what we ask people to do is we ask people to watch it on Oxygen channel. It's normally on at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we sort of watch it, and then I make a live show for after the episode, and we sort of go through it all and break down the episode. I take a bunch of screenshots through the episode and I show them to you, and then we sort of break down the evidence and go back through it. So it'll be a lot of fun. Laura T said that was fun. Yeah, I miss doing it. That we did season 6 last year, and we did Kimberly Langwell when that happened, and it was a lot of fun. So we'll be doing that again whenever we get new episodes, whenever that is, sometime in 2025. I'll enjoy my evening. I'll see you tomorrow. What are we going to do tomorrow? I don't know, but we'll probably have more random fun for the weekend before we have to get back to work on Monday and do court things and docket stuff and trial coverage and stuff. So weekends are just for a bit of fun, hanging out, talking random stuff. I will see you tomorrow for more random true crime and updates for cases. All right. Good night, everyone. Bye. Thanks to Joe for gifting those memberships to people too. Check out his channel, Joe Schmo. He's at the Kerrville. So you might get some good information from Kerrville about the floods that happened down there. So check out Joe's channel and see what his updates are. I know I will. I'm going to check it out. See you tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be random Sunday stories tomorrow night, Saturday night for you guys. No, Sunday for you guys. I'm getting lost in the days. Good night, everyone. Bye. Hope everyone had fun at that meetup. See you later. Bye bye.